It is so exciting to be here today. Winthrop University hasn't had a change in leadership in our men's basketball program in almost a decade. And that is a program that is loaded with a history of success in the classroom, on the court, and in our community. And it has been a banner of something we all take pride in this community in Rock Hill. And we've got some people in the room today that believe in that and have made time to be here today. I know there's a lot of you watching online that couldn't be here that are excited about it. And so just to dive in, I knew as soon as I got the news that we were having a leadership change, I got to work. You know, we have a highly sought after job, and so I knew that whatever would happen, we also had a highly sought after coach. And if and when he were to pursue a new opportunity, we were going to have a ton of interest in this job, and I wasn't wrong. And I remember very clearly when that happened, it would seem that all of Twitter felt that I was just wasting my time and not calling Mark Prosser the same day. I can assure you I got a lot of that. And I just want to reiterate to everybody in here, and I know Mark's this way too, that he deserved, our head coach deserves the opportunity to compete for this job no different than he was going to ask our student athletes to compete every single day. And what that meant was we were going to take nothing for granted. We were going to go into the most thorough process we could. We were going to check under every stone, and we were going to see what type of opportunities we had in the leadership for Winthrop men's basketball. And we did that. We involved some incredibly valuable people to this community, into this program, and we vetted a significant number of candidates, and we pared it down. And at the end of the day, as those candidates competed, and we have had some amazing candidates be interested, it was crystal clear that Mark Prosser competed and earned the right to lead this program. And that's what he deserves today, as he's introduced to each and every one of you, and that's what our guys deserve. So, you know, this isn't about what I have to say. I just needed to make sure everybody knew how excited I am and how clearly Mark performed in our process. He earned every second of it, as he's going to continue to do here at Winthrop. So before I pass it over to Mark, I just want to go through a list of thank yous. First and foremost, as you just saw, we came out of our Board of Trustees meeting. I cannot say enough about the gratitude I and we have for all of our Board of Trustees. Chairman Glenn McCall, for all of the support he's given for our athletic department and for our student athletes. Possibly our biggest basketball fan, Kathy Bigham, and the work she's done to help us. And I personally also just owe a lot of gratitude to Tim Hopkins for being an unbelievable supporter for athletics, but also just a great resource to me as I've tried to evaluate decisions. Randy Imler and Jane LaRoche for making it here today. I know you guys took time out of your busy week to be here with us. I just can't say how much that means to us. President Hind, man, 6 days into the job, and you got to run a COVID campus. Like, the number our virtual meetings still far exceed our face-to-face meetings, and the work that you've done is unbelievable. So to help us get to this point and the support you provided so that we could do this the right way means everything. So I can't thank you enough for that. Lisa Cowart, Kimberly Faust, we have vice presidents on this campus who were instrumental in making this whole process possible so that, again, we could introduce our basketball coach the right way. I cannot thank you guys enough for your help. I need to say quick, there are some people in my department who didn't sleep along with me for the last 8 days. Hank Harrowood's back here, our deputy athletic director. I think he might be the smartest person in the athletic department, but I should never say that out loud because it'll go straight to his head. Kelly Kish, our senior woman administrator, and our senior associate AD, nobody will disagree that she's the hardest working person in our department. She helped with this search immensely. And Samika Randolay, our women's basketball coach, was essential in the search process and helping us identify and refine this process and bring it to fruition. A quick note I have to say from a media standpoint, our local media is spectacular, but I have to specifically thank this guy right here, Alex Zietlow. So you guys may not know this, but Alex actually scooped this story long in advance. And he called me and he asked to confirm it, and I specifically told him we can't confirm anything because our board has yet to confirm this. And he respected that, and he kept it to himself. And he lost the opportunity to be the first so that there was a national writer that beat this. And I just want to say thank you, because the relationship that we've built, and I say the same for the guys in the back, the relationship with our local media has been so important to us. And I just am so excited to continue working well with each and every one of you guys, and just appreciate your honoring that process. Thank you. And speaking of media, there's, as you guys may or may not know, Winthrop University boasts maybe the most well-rounded knowledge of basketball in our radio personality. And I did have a lot of discussion with Mr. Friedman over here, so I owe Dave Friedman and Mike Pacheco some thank you for helping us make sure we were understanding what direction we were going, giving some feedback. So thank you guys for all that you do. I promise I'm getting through this. These are important. I'd be remiss if I didn't give just a sincere thank you to Pat Kelsey. 9 years of success, 9 years of doing things the right way, 9 years of championship basketball, and 9 years of just what this brand is. He has meant everything to this program. And with that, not just Pat, but again, like I said earlier today, and I'll say this repeatedly, PK put this roster together, but this roster is who hung the banner. And I think that's a testament, and I say that because it's not just the guys today, it's all the guys going all the way back. And I talked to a ton of former players. I heard from a ton of former players, but that thank you needs to exist for guys like Tyson Waterman, guys like Chris Gaynor, Mike Jenkins, guys like DeAndre Adams, Mantoris Robinson, guys like Keon Johnson, Xavier Cooks, Anders and Bjorn Broman, and guys like DJ Burns, guys like Michael Enuma and Russell Jones. It's the rosters that continue this tradition, that work along with our head coaches, and that's something I think is so important that everybody hears. And then there's some other people who help with this process that help bring it to fruition. David Williams is here today. I can't thank you enough, David, for being a friend and somebody who always stands for what's best for Rock Hill and Winthrop first and never lets his own interests get in the way. John Godbold couldn't be here today. His wife Linda is here with us. Unbelievable support of our program. And another person who he joked the other day reminded me he lived in Rock Hill before 77 went through the center of it. I mean, he is about the success of Rock Hill and Winthrop. Another gentleman who was going to be here today had a last-minute cancellation who I can't thank enough. And this is a collective thank you. Part of this process was successful because of unbelievable help and support specifically from the Carolina Panthers. From Stephen Drummond, who's originally from Rock Hill and unbelievably proud of what we're building here, who helped with this process, and specifically from help from David and Nicole Tepper, who helped with their generosity, their time, and their resources to help us get this process through to the finish line confidentially and help us celebrate a new era of Winthrop basketball. I'm telling you, they're Winthrop's newest, biggest fans. The last two thank yous I need to give. Number one, Emily Prosser, I got to thank you. I don't know if you guys realize this, but at any point during this process, Emily could have just made it go faster by calling my wife Amber, who's here today, and made it clear that I wasn't welcome at home if we didn't just move it faster. And in fact, Amber was the last person to find out any of this. I told my wife, like at 10 o'clock last night, what decision we had made. She truly had no clue what direction we were going. So finally, I wasn't sure if I should say this or not, but I'm going to say this. I think that this program and this day, there's a huge debt of gratitude owed to Skip Prosser. If you've been around Winthrop basketball at all, you've heard the name Skip Prosser 1,000 times. His legacy is infused into our program. And you know that our we've had a coach who used the word mentor constantly. So now today, I get to introduce somebody who has a different word for him. And he deserves such great credit for, I mean, it's influenced me as a leader, how much he has done. And so I'll end with, as I bring Mark up here, I can't tell you how excited I am that I get to hand the keys to this program to somebody where I'm not going to lose a wink of sleep because they're going to do everything right. And I've said this a few times, but we started by getting feedback from the team on what they wanted to see in a head coach. Proven winner. Playing fast, keeping this program together, someone familiar with us, somebody who knows Rock Hill, somebody who's been a head coach. And I added my own little piece, somebody who has experience beating the College of Charleston. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Prosser.
Comments from Athletic Director Ken Halpin as he introduces the new head coach of the Winthrop Eagles, Mark Prosser.
I didn't know I was going to start to get emotional, Dr. Halpin, but I certainly appreciate it. I've had the opportunity to do this a couple times now, and I have a good friend who's the head coach at Bucknell University. His name is Nathan Davis, and he told me before the first one of these that I was able to do, he said, be brief and be seated. I don't think I'm going to do that today. I might stay up here for a while and just sort of enjoy the moment. But thank you so much to everybody that was involved in the process. Certainly thank you to Dr. Hine, thank you to Dr. Halpin. Certainly thank you to the Board of Trustees and, and everybody that was involved in the search. And it was done, in a very professional way. Might have, taken a little longer. Some of the people we paid on Twitter would have hoped, but it was certainly, very, very well done. And the trust and to entrust, myself, our staff, our family, with what we really do, we genuinely believe is one of the prestigious college basketball programs in the country. It means the world to us, and certainly to welcome my wife, my children, and our family back home. Again, it's genuinely a wonderful day for us that we've sort of been looking forward to for a long time. And I think it gets thrown around a little bit. It may sound a little bit like coach speak, but it's not. This is home for us. For years. I guess it doesn't. It may seem a little longer. It's only been 3 years since we've been here, and I think it's been about 3 weeks since my kids stopped calling Rock Hill home. When are we going home? When are we going home? They always said that about Rock Hill. And so when we actually had the opportunity to have the conversation, I don't think they've stopped bouncing around since. They haven't gotten, I know Dr. Halpin hasn't either, but we haven't gotten a lot of sleep either, just with anticipation and excitement. And my beautiful bride of, I said it before, she might feel like 50 years, but it hasn't been quite that long. Emily and our children, Ava, Grace, and Declan, who are 10 and 7, are looking forward so much to being back home and back in this community. I think sometimes when these things happen, it looks as though in a coaching change, you're running away from something. By no means is that the case here. We had a wonderful experience at Western Carolina University. It's a beautiful place. The trajectory of that program, that athletic department, that university is tremendous. There's unbelievable leadership there, and it's difficult sitting in that sort of head coach's chair and having that conversation with our players about making this change. But I do, and I think, getting to know us and getting reacquainted with a lot of people in this room, you'll know that we left a part of our heart in Rock Hill. All of us did. And I see my wife get emotional. It's going to be me. And we sort of never got it back until we had the chance. So to get back into this community and back to this university, I think within our program, there's going to be a lot of consistency. I think, Coach Kelsey, who obviously I owe a ton to, spending 6 years here and introducing us. About 10 years ago, we were in Brevard, North Carolina, when Coach called and said, "Hey, we're going to go to this place called Winthrop. Would you like to come down and take a look?" And it was about, Ava was little. We came down and drove around and spent 6 years with Coach, and it was an unbelievable experience. And we enjoyed it so much. Like I said, we were fortunate to get an opportunity to sort of go and explore Western Carolina, which, again, we're eternally grateful for that opportunity. But to have the opportunity to get back on campus, to stand in front of you all today, it really is, and again, it's not coach speak. I'm not very good at coach speak. It really is a dream come true. And our staff, that is here to support, it is why, and I've heard Coach Kelsey say this before, and he's right, it's why we're good. It really is why we're good. And several of those guys over here have spent time here, so I'll sort of introduce them sort of one by one, if that's okay. Ben Betts is sort of the one guy on staff that hasn't worked at Winthrop before, so we're not going to talk about him at all today, but you'll get to know him and really like him as well. But was the head coach at South Carolina State, in-state as well, and very successful. So he's been at a state institution in South Carolina. And just sort of going down the line, is that Earps? I don't have my glasses on. Matt Earps is our video coordinator, who's a Winthrop alum. He was a student manager for us for 3 years. and then walked on to great heights as an athlete his senior year for us a couple years ago. Mitchell Hill was on staff with us with Coach Kelsey, and after we had left was still on staff with Coach Kelsey for 3 years. He worked here at Winthrop. Brett Ferguson is one of our assistant coaches who was with us on Coach Kelsey's first staff when we first got here for a year. That's all we could keep him, and he got out of town. And then Tony Rack, who was with us for 3 years as well. And I think you left a year before, maybe before that we went up to Western Carolina. So we do bring a sort of different point of view, having been here for so many years and working on campus at so many different times. And I think it's unique, because I think there's the opportunity for consistency and continuity is there, because as Dr. Halpin said, it's going to be a similar brand of basketball. And I think that's, for us as fans, and we've been doing it for several years now, watching this program, watching this team has been really, really exciting, and watching the team grow into what you sort of knew. And there was, an opportunity. I talked to, Brett McCormick when he was here. The last time there potentially was going to be a coaching vacancy here. And I said to him, I feel like we're just scratching the surface. And what I think that in that moment, I think we were building towards what you've seen the last couple years. Back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances and being on that national stage. And, that's sort of the price of admission at Winthrop basketball. It's hanging banners, it's competing for championships. And we know that when you walk in the door, and we feel the same way. I've said it often. Playing in the NCAA tournament, having that opportunity is sort of like a drug. And once you go, you feel like you got to go back, and then you feel like you got to go back. It never sort of goes away. And I've actually had a chance to, be on a staff that advanced a couple times in the NCAA tournament when I was an assistant at Bucknell University, and there's nothing like that either. So that's the expectation. We look forward to that. That's why we're here. We wouldn't have it any other way. And again, it truly is a dream come true for us to be back in the Rock Hill community. And we certainly look forward to getting started as soon as possible. But thank you for all the kind words. I'm humbled. I'm honored to stand before you all today and to continue the tradition that's been laid here for years and years. We were talking a little bit. It seems as though it's hard for Winthrop coaches to leave. Sometimes they come back in minutes. Sometimes they come back in a couple of days. It took us about 3 years to get back, but it was well worth it. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support, and we'll continue to make you all proud, and we look forward to doing so.